Well, see you at 3. Sorry to interfere with your busy schedule of shopping and spending daddy's money.
You don't even know me.
Oh, really? So tell me, what are you good at besides accessorizing?
First of all, accessorizing isn't just a skill. It's an art. And second of all, I think everyone knows that I shred major powder.
That's overstating it a bit.
Excuse me?
I've seen you ride. You're decent, but sloppy. You don't finish your moves and your transitions are weak.
Then how did I make the Swift team?
Your daddy owns the resort.
That has nothing to do with it. Yeah, why don't you just walk away, doggy daycare? Go find some poop that needs scooping.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's how we're going to say bye today.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, Val.
Hey, Al.
Welcome to D Commentaries.
Thank you. Welcome to you and welcome to our listeners. Today, we're talking about Cloud 9.
Yeah. We are. Yeah. Woo. Val, how are you? You doing good?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Good.
Had a nice weekend. First kind of like non-crazy weekend since before the holidays. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
We went to the mall. We went to the mall in Allie's hometown.
Say it, everyone, at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Schaumburg.
And it is this mall. Like, I know that the sort of universal understanding of malls these days is that they are dying. And I've been to dead malls. This mall, it might as well be 1998 or 2004. I mean, it is thriving.
Yeah.
Full to the brim of people, teens, families, like everyone you could think of. Every single storefront is full. It is rocking.
Yeah.
And a great winter activity, especially for a baby that loves people. Anyway, it was very fun.
Good.
Oh my God, they have it's not Squishmallow, it's like a different brand, but they have like a Squishmallow store, and Alice saw it as we were walking by and lost her ever loving mind.
Yeah. She's still there. They left her there.
We did. She sleeps there. No, we didn't. We managed not to get anything, but boy, was she excited when she saw that
cute
whole room full of squishies.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about Cloud 9.
We are.
Cloud 9, as we mentioned last episode, there were no other flicks that came out in 2013. So we're now in 2014.
Okay.
Cloud 9 came out January 17th, 2014, which tells me kind of a lot. First of all, yes, we're very close in the dates.
She knew by my guess what
Allie gasped. We're very close in the dates, but what I thought about was like, January is kind of a dead month, right? Like, I guess maybe not for watching a movie at home, but like they haven't released like that many movies in January.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. It made me feel like they had some optimism about like doing DCOMs and maybe particularly this one. And I mean, it feels appropriate, right? Because like it's a winter activity that this is about. It's about snowboarding, spoiler. So I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting that it came out in January. So hopefully that means that, you know, we're getting at least 2, if not multiple movies in 2014. We'll find out. I could obviously look this up very easily, but I'm not gonna. Directed by none other than Paul Hoen.
There he is.
For those who need a refresher, Paul Hoen directed Luck of the Irish, True Confessions, You Wish, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, Read and Weep, Cheetah Girls One World, Dad Napped, Camp Rock 2, Let It Shine, How to Build a Better Boy, and Zombies 1 through 3, along with this movie. And probably other ones that I missed, because every single time he pops up, it's a movie that I didn't know was a DCOM. So I'm sure we're going to continue to add more to the list.
Yeah.
It was written by Justin Ware, who did not write any other DCOMs and also barely had anything else on his resume. Like
Okay.
he had something called The Pool Boys, The Blood-Sucking Bastards, and Hell Den. All of his movies sounded like
I've seen all
horror.
3.
Yeah. Sometimes with the writers, I'm like, where did they find these people?
Yeah.
The cast is as follows. Dove Cameron played Kayla Morgan. She is going to be in Descendants 1 through 3. She was also a star of the show Liv and Maddie, which was a Disney Channel show. She's also been in Dumplin', Schmigadoon, a show called Big Nate that I'd never heard of, and a bunch of music videos.
Cool.
Then we have Luke Benoit back again.
Val, funny you say that. Resident Gen Z and friend, Jillian, has said that we said Luke Benoit's name wrong.
Uh-oh.
It's Luke. It's Luke, right?
Yeah.
Luke Benward.
Benward?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds way less fun. Okay. Luke.
I think we keep
Benward.
it Benward because he sounds French that way.
Yeah. Well, either way, Luke Benward, whatever, played Will Cloud. No, we'll pronounce his name the way he wants it pronounced. That's fine.
The way he wants it pronounced.
He played the titular Will Cloud. He was in Minutemen when he was much tinier. He was also very recently in Girl vs. Monster. And other than those DComs, which I'm assuming he's going to be in more, because again, I don't know the names of them. And
yeah,
it sounds
he's either in more, but he was also in like Good Luck Charlie. Like he was a D.
Yes, he was in Good Luck Charlie.
D channel star.
Yes. Yes, he was in Good Luck Charlie and Girl Meets World, as well as non-Disney things. We Were Soldiers, Because of Winn-Dixie, Dear John, and Criminal Minds.
And once again, still dating Ariel Winter.
Right.
Which maybe she pronounced her name Ariel Winter. We don't know.
Oh my god.
Resident Gen Z and friend
Help.
Jillian, help us.
Mike C. Manning played Nick Swift. He's been in some stuff: Youthful Days, Money Heist, Days of Our Lives, and The Bay. So a lot of soapy things, which honestly feels right for his face.
Yeah.
And his style of acting too, actually. Kiersey Clemens played Sky Sailor. Now she is maybe the most famous person in this movie, certainly among them, or has become the most famous since this movie. She was on Austin and Ally, but then more recently she was in Dope, Extant, Transparent, Neighbors 2, Hearts Beat Loud, Angie Tribeca, Easy, Lady and the Tramp, Antebellum, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Fairfax, The Flash, and most recently Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, which is what I recognized her from. But I also, I guess, recognized her from Hearts Beat Loud, which was an indie movie she did with Nick Offerman where she plays his daughter. It's very lovely. But yeah, she is having a moment for the last few years. Like, she's just crushing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amy Farrington played Andrea, who was the mom of Will's mom.
Yeah.
She was in Hatching Pete, also as the mom. And she's also had a recurring role on SWAT more recently. But she's a character actor. So she's been in lots of stuff. Patrick Fabian played Richard Morgan. So he's Kayla's dad, the owner of the ski resort. He played the baddie. The baddie.
I'll know what that means now.
In Twitches and Twitches 2. And he was also in Joan of Arcadia, Better Call Saul. I mean, he's a character actor. Like, I recognized his face before Twitches. Like, he's very recognizable, I think. Andrew Caldwell played Sam, who is one of the friends.
Friends of Will or Friends of Nick?
Friends of Will.
Okay.
Yes. He was in Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja, iZombie, Henry Danger, and The Matrix Resurrections.
Wow. As a side note to everyone, I watched The Matrix for the first time. I don't get it. And I don't want to get it. And if you're offering me the red pill or the blue pill, I'm taking the one that doesn't change shit, okay? Because it doesn't make any sense. Val, continue.
I know. If we are in the Matrix, I think I'd prefer to just remain in the Matrix.
I don't... What?
I know.
Everyone was like, watch the second one. It'll make more sense. I go, no! It should make sense in the first one.
Yeah. Also, it does... I mean, I guess maybe, but like not really. It doesn't make more sense. Anyway,
and you know what I'm not going to do is watch the second one.
Yeah. Well, because then you have to watch the third one.
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay, then we have Dylan Lane, who played Burke, who I believe was the other friend of Will. He was in Bucket and Skinner's Epic Adventures, and more recently, I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Victoria Morales played Pia, who was one of Kayla's friends, the one who talked. She was in Teen Wolf, also in Liv and Maddie, Plan B, and Never Have I Ever. Among
I like that show.
Mm-hmm. Jeffrey Nordling played Sebastian Swift. So he was the dad who owned the
team
and the gear. Like he owned a ski and snowboarding gear company. So they then had their own sponsored team. And he was Nick's dad. Yeah. He is a very prolific character actor. I recognized him immediately. Hot. Yeah, pretty hot. He was in Working Girl, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Quiz Show, the thing I knew him from originally, D3, The Mighty Ducks.
Wow.
Melrose Place, Once and Again, Providence, Flight 93, Flicka, Dirt, 24, Desperate Housewives, Sully, Nashville, The Man in the High Castle, Big Little Lies, Walker, and So Help Me Todd. And that is just a selection of things that he's been in like many episodes of, or like movies that I recognized. He is big time. So I was kind of
big time and hot. Come on.
I know. I was kind of surprised he was in this, honestly. Like, I wonder if it's one of those where he has like kids that wanted him to do a decom or something. Kenda Benward was in this movie as well as Madeline Morgan, who was the mom of Kayla. So this is maybe confusing. I don't know. But Luke's mom in real life played Dove's mom, Kayla's mom, in the movie.
That's so funny. And I point this out in the synopsis in Spoiler City. And it's very confusing when she shows up because you're like, when did you get here? Wait.
I liked her.
I liked her too, but she needed a bigger part.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of decoms where the mom is like essentially a mannequin. If they're even on camera at all.
This is one of them.
Yeah, for sure. She was in Dad Napped, which I did not remember. And she hasn't acted since 2018. So I feel like this was kind of just like a fun, like, well, Luke's
I'll only be in it if my mom can be in it.
Right, exactly. And then finally, Carlin Jeffrey. Actually, I think this was the other friend. So Burke must have been one of the bro-y friends. Okay. The ones from the snowboard team. So Carlin Jeffrey played Dink, who I believe was Will's other friend. He was in Ant Farm, was the only recognizable thing. And he stopped acting in 2020.
A pandemic loss.
I know. The synopsis is as follows. A girl who frequently snowboards is forced to train with a guy, an ex-champion of the sport, after an unexpected event. However, she has to prove to him that she is a true professional.
That like couldn't be more incorrect. Like that's not the movie.
In some kind of attempt to be like vague and non-spoilery, that they just said nothing. Like they literally said nothing with that synopsis. That's really funny.
Ugh.
Amazing. I couldn't find any fun facts. Did you find anything?
No, I could look really quick. Fun facts about Clown. Oh, okay. Shaun White and Ashley Tisdale are executive producers for the movie.
Oh, that's fun.
It is the last DCOM to use the original logo.
Oh, weird.
And Kayla's friend Pia also plays Dove Cameron's friend Andy in Liv and Maddie, the show,
which I mentioned. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for those fun facts.
Thank you for listening to them.
All right, Al. I would love to hear your first impressions of this movie.
Thanks, Val. I liked this movie a lot. I really did. I was expecting not to like it within the first 5 minutes, and it really grew on me. It was really fun. I was actively paying attention throughout. You can tell I like a movie when I don't take as many notes, and I had a really fun time. I don't think that it's better than Johnny Tsunami, but I think it's very close. So I'm going to give it a 6.99 because I gave Johnny Tsunami a 7.
Amazing.
But yeah,
Very
I've never
cool.
seen it before. I really, really liked it. Yeah, big fan. Val, first impressions?
Thanks, Al. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I can't tell you how relieved I was watching this movie. I feel like we've finally gotten back to the original formula of DCOM with this movie.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, one thing that I noticed is I didn't write a ton of quotes. And
Same.
I think it's not because it's because there weren't a lot of like jokes, right? Like it wasn't like a movie full of one-liners. And I actually think that is part of what made it so great.
Yes.
They weren't reaching for jokes. They weren't reaching for laughs. They were just telling a story, and it was very character driven. And it was a great and interesting and believable story because these people believed in it. They were incredibly earnest in their portrayal of these characters and their problems and their, beliefs and wishes and whatever. And like, that is all I have wanted in a DCOM in so long.
Yeah.
And like, I've found things to like in some of the recent ones, like, the musicals are a little bit different, obviously. And then like, also Teen Beach Movie was also very meta, which I found interesting and fun in its own way. But like, in terms of a DCOM that is just a DCOM, you know what I mean? Like just a straight up story. This is the first time in a very long time that I have just been like, this is great. I really enjoy this. I would watch this again.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking of the last time was probably like an Avalon High.
Yeah, and even like Avalon High was fine. Like it wasn't bad by any means, but like this is the first one where I'm like very net positive. Like, I thought everybody did a good job. Like there were a couple things, obviously, if I'm being nitpicky, like I thought it was so dumb how one of her friends didn't talk and only texted. Like stuff like that. There were
get out of here.
There were things like that were definitely like too much. But like for the most part, everyone, what the last movie probably was? Princess Protection Program.
I was going to say
that is the last one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And that was a while ago. So
that
like
was in May of last year.
Oh my God. So it's been like 6 months for me since like I've just like really enjoyed watching a straight up DCOM.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy. I'm just so happy that we are like, it feels like we're on an upswing now.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like we're in a good place here. And I was just like so pleased. So pleased. All I ever wanted was just a good story with people taking it seriously. And that's exactly what we got. So
yeah.
Good job, Cloud9.
Good job. Big fans.
Yeah. Loved it. All right, Al.
Yes.
Did you have any favorite quotes and or moments?
Yeah, I did. A couple of my favorite quotes were dog pound gangsta. I'm not giving context. Now sled me like a shih tzu. Not giving context. I think we need some pizza therapy.
That's a good one.
Thank you. Mom goes, break a leg. I mean, don't break a leg. Because they had previously had a broken leg.
Yeah. I wrote that one too.
It's so good. And her delivery is so good.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, go home. Because this event's for maniacs and shredders. Loved that. I also think that all of that man's voice was ADR. That man was not talking
it
ever.
Was so bad. No, for sure.
My favorite part was the Bloodhound dressed as a United Kingdom detective.
Sherlock Holmes specifically.
And my least favorite part was the shot of them in the pool.
Oh,
Before they go into the pool, there's an outside shot of them in the pool. And you just see their like legs and bodies in this
But they have they have clothes on in that shot. On? In that shot, yes. It felt like it was like a weird digital composite, like where they weren't actually in the pool.
Yes, I think because their bodies would have been super distorted, so they made them look not distorted. Because in water, it offsets. So they made it look like, here's my head and here's my body, where in real times, it would have been like this.
Right. And it was just bizarre.
I hated that shot. I hated it. It made me shiver me timbers. And then something that I noticed was they brought back during one of the snowboarding montages a song from Cadet Kelly.
What?
Yes. I was like, I know this song. Why do I know this song? This song was in another decom. That's me typing. It's it's by Super Chick, and it's I heard.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow.
It's that one.
Amazing.
It's very faint in the background, but I can't ever hear. And I heard that.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Val, favorite quotes and moments.
Thanks, Al. Excuse me. I'm getting some serious dad eye right now. To be fair, Will Cloud isn't uncute.
To be fair.
What are you, a weatherman? I dabble. How are you going to win without the competition being rigged? I don't know. How are you going to deal with those split ends I could see from the other side of the mountain? And then I wrote, break a leg. I mean, don't break a leg.
Don't break a leg.
As far as a favorite moment. Okay. So 2 things. One is I felt like they had no chemistry the whole time.
Interesting.
And then there's this like really like intensely romantic moment.
Yes.
That kind of comes out of nowhere, I feel.
Okay.
And I believed it. So like they did a turnaround. Like it worked for me. But I felt like before that, there was times where like they were trying to kind of show like that they were going from enemies to lovers, right? And it just for me was not believable. So I was impressed that they managed to pull it off in the end, because like I just was not buying it. Like I literally wrote they have exactly 0 chemistry at one point in my notes. And the other thing was I really liked that they went out to get ice cream at one point, because
and it's
like
so
they
cold
live in
outside.
right, they like live in Colorado or whatever, but like that is so realistic to a group of people who live in cold weather.
Yeah,
like,
they're
I
like,
feel
we're
like
gonna go get ice cream, who cares?
Right, exactly. Like you wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a cool kind of like
like
they thought about it.
I am not a someone who does this, but I don't like people who are like, I can't believe you're drinking iced coffee and it's 10 degrees outside. I'm like, you just got a Diet Coke from McDonald's and it's 10 degrees outside. Right. What are you doing? I don't like that. So for me, I'm like, yeah, go get ice cream. Who cares if it's cold?
Right.
You eat soup over the summer.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
I drink hot tea in the summer.
I drink hot tea every day of my life.
Right. Exactly. You get it.
I was drinking hot tea in Disney World when it feels like 102. Okay.
Hey, there's a lot of people in the Middle East who would say that actually helps.
Because it
Yeah.
probably like heats your body up to get it more regulated to the heat it is
Mhm.
outside. And we all know I run hot.
All right. That's all
Cool.
from me.
Okay.
Anything else before we
No.
go to Spoiler City? All right. I am on my board with nothing else on.
Wow.
Ready
Okay.
to
We
hit
are
that
Chelsea
half pipe.
handlering down a mountain. Y'all remember that? Welcome to Spoiler City, where I spoil the city. Oh, and since hold on.
Uh-oh.
Val so graciously got me a Spoiler City hat for Christmas, and so I have left my desk to go pick it up, and I am back wearing my Spoiler City hat.
Oh, you look great.
Thank you. I'm so cute. I am someone. I'm not being humble right now. I'm someone who can pull off a hat.
Absolutely.
I can
That's why
very
I got
much
it for
pull
you.
off a dad hat. Big fan. I love a hat. And Val also can. She wears a hat every day. We're just two hat gals.
We are two hat
We're two hat gals. Although Val can pull off a backwards hat. I can't pull off a backwards hat.
I've never seen you wear one, so I
And
can't
you never
speak to
will.
that.
Okay. All right. We have lights up on a ski town, and we've got some girls that are shopping, and they come home and they have like bags, and they're with their friends, and we find out that she's competing today in the snowboarding competition, and there's this mysterious gift from Dad, and it's like this dress that she's going to wear. And she's so happy, and she's rich, and we're laughing. And then we see Nick, who is like, he's a cute guy on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to win for his dad, for his team. And we find out that Nick is Kayla's boyfriend, and Kayla shows up late. But her team wins, and her dad is happy that she won, but he clearly does not like her boyfriend, Nick. And then we cut to the dog grooming guy, Will, and him and his mom work for a place called Hot Doggers, which I love.
They own it. His
yes.
mom
She started her own dog grooming business in the village. And where we are is kind of like, so we said Utah, but I am very much thinking like if all of these people live in Vail. So if Vail, Aspen, like a little ski town where there's the mountain is connected to the town, and you can get everything you want in these little shops that are like right here. So they work in the dog grooming place that is like right next to the mountain. And we like see a picture of him snowboarding, and his mom is like, you should get back out there. And he's like, I put it behind me, put that picture away. And so we find out in this moment that he used to be a snowboarder, and he is not doing that anymore. We don't know why at this point yet. But then we find out that he got hurt. And so that's why he is no longer snowboarding. And then I wrote Guy from Groomer.
Yeah.
The guy from the groomery. At this point, I didn't know his name. So that's why I wrote Guy from Groom. So I went back and wrote Will, but his name's Will. And then like Nick makes fun of him for like, hey, you suck, you were bad. And his friends who are like super cute, super nice, are trying to get him to snowboard again. They want him to get back out there. But Kayla's teammates, so Kayla, Nick, and the two goons are like mean to Will and his two friends. So we are on competing teams a la Brink, where we have like the yellow team and the blue team. So Kayla is currently on the yellow team if we were in Brink. And Will is currently on the blue team if we were in Brink. Then we find out that Kayla, this is Dove Cameron, her dad owns the resort that they all, are in. And Nick's dad, her boyfriend, is the coach of the team who like owns the sponsorship. He owns the team. He's the coach. And he is a very mean person. We do not like this man. And then we have this, big presentation. She, wears her fancy dress. The fire and ice competition, we find out, is going to be on television at the resort. And so Nick is like...
Snowboarding regionals.
Yeah, snowboarding regionals, the big game. Nick wants to win with the Cloud 9, which is, we find out that it's Will Cloud. His last name is Cloud. He created a snowboarding move called Cloud 9, and he broke his leg doing this move in the last competition, which is why he no longer snowboards and he works for the groomery.
he really hurt himself. Like, it wasn't just
he
his leg.
collapsed a lung. He broke a leg. He shattered his ankle.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just
very traumatic.
Yeah. It was some bad news bears. So Nick and the goons and Kayla think that they're being funny, and they steal the dog sled that Nick uses to get, or that Will uses to get around, just like town with the dogs, so they could get outside, get some fresh air. And Kayla and Nick are on the sled, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go down the hill." And then as they are like going down the hill, and they are speeding into oblivion, he ditches her. Red flag. He ditches her. And she goes through the forest. She slides through their like old fashioned sign. If anyone's ever seen Schitt's Creek, it's like that big sign at the front of Schitt's Creek. She like crashes through the sign. The sign falls down. She gets in huge trouble and is now like off the team. And she has to kind of do like community service. And her community service is to work at the groomery with Will and his mom at Hot Doggers. I'm going to say it every time I can, after school. He like hands it to her. This is our cold open, that she's only on the team because her dad is rich. Oh, she's not off the team yet until right now. Now she's off the team. Nick is like, sorry, we're kicking you off because like we the
coach says it.
Yeah.
Because
coach.
they ruined the sign.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, you're out. I can't do this anymore. Then we find out that Nick's dad, so the mean coach, only picked people that Kayla could win against. So every time she went up against someone, it was like people who weren't that good, because her dad owned the resort. He wanted her to win. And we actually find out she's not that good at snowboarding. So everyone was kind of lying to her and living in this fantasy world. And that she's not.
Which you can kind of tell it from the first competition, because like she doesn't do anything. Like she doesn't do a single trick the entire
she just
time.
like goes down and is like
goes down. And the announcer is like, oh, and she did that with some flair, trying to find something to say. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty clear from the outset. I thought it was I didn't know what was going on yet. So I was like, what the hell? Like she didn't do anything.
That's funny. So then we find out that Will's friend, the man who works at the groomery, Hot Doggers, his friend got a concussion. So he's like, you stay here at the groomery. I have to go get my friend. And so he leaves her at Hot Doggers alone. Hijinks ensue, and all the dogs get out, and she destroys the kennel completely. And they get outside. All 5 dogs get outside of the groomery.
Because what was that one dog's name?
Edmund?
Doug or no, it was like Doug or Dale or
I think
something.
It's Doug.
It was something. It was like a D. It was something.
I didn't write it down.
There was one dog that was sort of like the favorite, and he was the troublemaker. Yeah. He like let everyone else out of their cages.
He's a terrier. It's always a terrier. As someone who grew up with a terrier. So then they get outside, and then at that point she's like covered in dog water and hay, I don't know, and Nick like breaks up with her. He's like, I can't do this anymore. She's like, what? He's like, I can't do this anymore, you're embarrassing me. And she's like, what? And then she goes back to the groomery and is like, I'm so sorry. She got all the dogs got back. They're all on leashes. They're like, what happened? And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Maybe you should fire me. And they're like, no, that's actually not how this works. You're going to go get cleaned up. You're going to come right back. And she goes, no, I did a bad thing. You should fire me. And they're like, no, you're saying you're not getting out of that this easy. And then
I loved the way the mom did that.
Yeah.
She was just like, no, I can't imagine what you went through. I'm so sorry. Will should not have left you alone. It was so funny.
So then she goes home and her friends come over, her 2 best friends, the gals. And one of them, as Val mentioned earlier, doesn't talk. Only talks via text. And either don't have that person there or have them talk.
So dumb.
I made no sense. Did not like. 0 out of 10. Sorry to this woman. I don't know who that is. Then she offers style tips for the groomery to get it all tidied up for coaching tips. So she goes to Will and is like, if you coach me so I can be a better snowboarder, I will style your groomery. Because they're like, yeah, not a lot of people come here. And she's like, yeah, because it's not very welcoming, which I personally liked it better the first time. But
I agree.
I get it for the movie's sake. And then we find out that her team, who was like, we're not just going to have an extra fourth person on the team. So the X team, Nick's team, the Swift team, got a new girl. Crazy. Nick says yes to getting the new girl. So then we see Sky Sailor show up, and she's good. She's from Aspen, but she's mean. She's a mean girl. And then
I would say she's confident rather than mean.
She's mean to Kayla though.
Yeah, she just doesn't take Kayla seriously, which frankly Will talk to her almost the exact same way at the beginning of the movie, like in our cold open.
Yeah. Okay, so montage of training and hot doggers improvements. So that's just, one of our montages. Check the box. And then Mom is like, you know what? You guys did so much work. This place looks so good, even though it looks like Cruella DeVille designed it. Why don't you guys go early? And they go get ice cream. They bond. They talk about how, like, wow, it's like really eerie outside looking at Tyson's Peak and how spooky Tyson's Peak is and how no one's ever snowboarded down Tyson's Peak. I'm not giving you clues. And she tries to convince him at this point to come back to snowboarding. Like, you're good. Like, you can do it. Come back. This is a very genuine moment. Then when did Mom get here? We're more than halfway through the movie. And we hear Kayla overhearing her parents talk about how her dad doesn't believe in her, that she's able to kind of come back from this. So because of this, she goes to Will and asks him to teach her Cloud 9. And he's like, no, I literally shattered my entire body from Cloud 9. I'm not teaching you how to do Cloud 9. So she's like, nothing is impossible. And she convinces the helicopter to take her up to Tyson's Peak. Val.
Did you recognize the helicopter pilot?
I did, but why?
He's your favorite dad from The Luck of the Irish.
Oh, God. That's why I didn't. I pushed him to the back of my head for so many reasons. I'm going to have to rewatch these movies and rank all the dads.
Oh, boy.
I will never do that. Fun. Sorry, everyone. Okay. So I wrote wild choice. This is a wild choice. No one's ever snowboarded this. And this 15, 16-year-old girl is going up to do this. Dumb. And the helicopter people are like, yeah, okay. See, another reason to hate this man because he let this child go up there. So she's like sliding down and it's like a news helicopter. So they go live. She's on TV. People are gasping. She's doing okay so far. She recovered a couple times, but then she triggers an avalanche by standing on one part. Avalanche is following her. She gets stuck and Will's like, oh my God. And so he goes on a snowmobile to go save her. He brought Douglas the dog. I don't remember his name. And he sniffs her out. They find her. And the first thing she says is, nothing is impossible. So then this is where we have that weird pool scene where they like go to the pool inside of her house and you see their legs and they look really long. Honestly, watch this movie just for that part, but also watch this movie. It's good. And now they're in the pool. They're like flirting, in the pool. So this is where they start to like break down their relationship a little bit more. And all of their friends are like picking up on the fact that they're like flirting now. Even Mom stopped an almost kiss. So very interesting. Then we go to school and Nick and Sky, the new girl on the Swift team, are dating. Oh my God. Which is crazy because he originally broke up with her because he wanted to focus on snowboarding. So she's like, excuse me. And Will is starting to pick on vibes that like Will thinks that Kayla is only into him so that she can get back at Nick. So there's just like a couple scenes that we see where it's very much like, hold my hand. And then she's like trying to make sure Nick is watching and like, we're laughing and like Nick is watching. So he's like, I don't even think she really likes me. I think she's just doing this as a ploy to get back at her ex-boyfriend because she got broken up with. Then we have a montage of trying the Cloud 9 and them training. And, it's hard and it's not going well, but she's learning. And then Nick says like some mean stuff to Will of like, you suck. And then he convinces like him to not support her. And he's like about to like, he's like, I'm done being your coach. And she's like, dude, what the heck? Like, I don't like him. I don't want to do this. And she goes, quote, I'm done wasting my time with guys who don't believe in me. And he's walking away and he turns right back around and he kisses her. And I audibly gasped.
This was very intense for a decom.
Very intense for a decom. And I loved how she didn't give in to him right away. He pulled away and she goes, I want to do this. Like, I can do this. Like, I need your help to do this. And she wasn't like, oh my God, you kissed me. Like, what's that about? It was very much like, I'm continuing the conversation. I really, really liked that moment. So then weird moment happens next. Nick's dad invites her back onto the Swift team. Are you kidding me? It's the night before regionals and you're about to invite me back on the team. And she entertains it. She shows up the next day wearing the Swift gear and Will's like, dude, what the, you know what? I already swore. He's like, dude, what the fuck? And she goes up and he's like, hey, yeah, you're wearing the Swift gear. Let's go. And she goes, oh, sorry. I forgot to turn this in. She takes off her jacket and hands it to him. And then she turns in her gear and it was a huge joke the whole time. Ha 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 ha. And then mom comes over with the jerseys that the Hot Doggers team is going to wear. And their jerseys are the style of like the inside of the studio, which is like red, black, white, which is why I said Cruella de Vil, like plaid kind of. So then the boys' heat is first. Will is back. Did I say that? I don't know. He's back. He's back snowboarding. He was part of the montage. He's doing it. So after run one, Will was beating Nick, but then for the boys' heat, Nick ended up winning. And then after
which I liked.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I liked. Yeah. Because Will hadn't been snowboarding for over a year.
A year. And he even said, like, I feel really proud of like what I did today. Like I did what I could for the time that I had.
Yeah.
And he was close. Like he wasn't far behind. And then after the women's run one, Sky is in first. And then after the second run, she's still in first. And they say Kayla's going to need a near perfect score in order to beat Sky and have the team win. And her dad comes up to her before the final run and he apologizes for underestimating her, not believing in her and being a shitty dad, which is a really nice moment and inspires Nick to stick up to his dad and was like, basically sticking up to him for being like, you have never been there for me emotionally throughout my entire life. And you kind of suck. And he's like, oh, I'm only doing what's best. And he, quote, literally said, it's not my dream. It's yours. Give it up for decoms, people. But he also says what really happened in the beginning of the movie, which I would have never picked up on this.
No,
and
I had no idea.
This twist. Is the sled in the beginning where Nick fell off and she kept sliding into the sign was planned by Nick's dad, the coach, so he had a reason to kick her off the team. Wild. I loved that.
Yeah, so I knew obviously that he had kind of seized on this situation as an opportunity to kick her off.
But that he planned
I knew that. Right. And I knew that he'd been like talking to Nick, like basically what I assumed he was saying to him at the beginning, you know, we didn't hear the conversation, was like, we need to get rid of her. She sucks, you know, whatever. But I had no clue that he had, formulated this entire plan.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then our very last, couple scenes, we have Kayla doing her run and it's much different than her first, run we see in the very beginning. And you know what? Sure as shit. She lands the Cloud9 and we end with her hoisted up, fireworks in the background. And that's Cloud9.
And then we see bloopers.
Which had music playing over it. But we see bloopers. Big fan. I liked this movie a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I really enjoyed it. I really liked Kayla's arc. At the beginning, I was like, oh God, I hate this girl. And it was funny too, because I was like, I got what I asked for. I literally said in Girl vs. Monster, they should make the prissy, self-important girl the lead. And then they went and did it. And I was like, no.
Now Val can't make her decom.
That's right. But I really appreciated that she genuinely, and this is the part that's a little far-fetched, right? That she had no clue about any of this. But like within the reality of the movie, she genuinely did not realize that all these competitions were being rigged for her. She genuinely loved snowboarding and genuinely wanted to be good at snowboarding. Like she really wanted these things. In fact, they were her priority, not anything to do with getting with Will. That was like a very like secondary, like not important.
Which is exactly
to her,
why I like
really.
the kiss scene, because the first thing she thought of after he kissed her was like, please help me with this.
Right. Like she was like, okay, fine. You're talking to me again.
Yeah.
Please help me. Yeah. Like she really, really wanted this. And yes, she was surrounded by men who didn't believe in her.
Yeah.
And despite that, she found a way to believe in herself enough to inspire them to believe in her. And I really, really love that arc for her character. I also just wanted to say, I forgot about this, but I kind of like had a little crush on the one kind of goofier friend of Will's.
I loved both of them. I really thought both of them were so sweet, so well cast. Like the tall one.
Yeah, the tall one, because he kind of reminded me of Michael, I guess, like in a way. But I just thought he was like really charming and like
they
funny.
were really funny.
And like even like the sillier parts, like there was one part where he like hits his head and he's kind of like out of it, and it's very silly, but like he plays it really genuinely. And again, like I feel like that's the key, right, to the silly stuff is like just play it really genuinely. So yeah, I appreciated them a lot. I thought this was a pretty well cast movie. I liked it.
I do have to say, I thought that Luke Benward was so charming in this movie. And I don't know that like him, I think that he had chemistry with Dove, but Dove didn't have chemistry with him, if that makes sense. Where like every time he would look at her, I was like, I believe him. I believe all of his emotions. I think that he was an absolute incredible casting in this movie. I thought his emotions were genuine. I thought that his facial expressions were awesome. And I really, really enjoyed watching him and his journey throughout. I thought he was really well cast. Not that Dove wasn't, but it took her longer to have that chemistry, kind of like you mentioned earlier, with him. Yeah. And maybe it's because that's her whole arc the whole time was snowboard focus. Right. But I really, really thought that his reactions were genuine. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, he was a good actor when he was like that little guy in Minutemen.
I keep forgetting that was him.
I know, it's funny, isn't it? Okay.
Let's do some bingo.
Let's do some
bingo. I'm going to start today.
Yay.
One hit wonder song. What about our Super Chick song?
Well,
it's on our playlist. One Girl Revolution.
I feel like Super Chick.
It's like actually, they've got a lot of songs.
Yeah, they've got a lot of charting songs. So
okay.
And like the song Cloud 9, which Luke and Dove sing.
But Dove's not a one hit because Dove is a singer.
Exactly. Right, exactly. So I don't think that it counts either. So no.
Nope.
Breaking the Fourth Wall or Looking into the Camera. Not that I saw.
The ladies and gentlemen stay home for maniacs and he talks in the TV.
Oh, okay. I totally did not think about that. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Holiday themed. No. Snow themed.
Clunky metaphor. I mean, yeah, like doing like skiing. What's it called?
Snowboarding? Tyson's Peak.
Snowboarding Tyson's Peak, is like a metaphor for like anything, like overcoming your fears, proving to people that you are more than what they think of you, whatever. Yeah, sure.
Parents who just don't get it. A lot of parents.
A number of them. Yeah. There's basically one parent that gets it out of all of them. Cool non-parent adult.
Everyone's a parent.
Yeah, there's not really an adult. Like, I guess theoretically you could count like his mom towards her, but like I don't know if I count that.
Someone too famous for a TV movie.
I would say the guy who plays Nick's dad. Cool. Competition to resolve central problem. Yeah. Fire and ice, baby.
A montage sequence. A couple.
Cliche villains. Absolutely.
Yeah. Dads.
These are like straight out of Mighty Ducks. All of them.
Clothes or items you owned.
I have a helmet for skiing and snowboarding.
Wow, we're marking it. When they're in the high school, they're wearing skirts with leggings under them, and I used to do that. I don't know that was a look in 2014. It definitely was giving 2008, but I did that in middle school a lot.
Yeah, I remember doing that. Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60. I'm going to guess 63.
Incorrect, Val. 75.
Hey, all right. I didn't give them enough credit.
That's okay. I'm glad that people like this movie.
Me too.
Oh, although, okay. Listen to the Rotten Tomatoes synopsis. Kayla, a prima donna snowboarder, is dropped from her team and must train with Will, a former snowboarding champion who is struggling after a career-ending wipeout. That's better than the one you read. Still better. Not as
still accurate, a little bit, but yeah, definitely.
Okay. Happily ever after. They have fireworks, so yeah.
Almost kissing. Yay!
Someone who became famous. A good chunk of people in this movie.
Yes, but definitely
Dove.
What is her name? Well, Dove, yes, and also Kiersey Clemens.
Yes,
the one who plays Sky. Betraying of one's real friends or values. Not really, no.
Narrator. Thank God, no. Thank God, no.
Obviously bad special effects or stunts.
Absolutely.
So I do want to give credit because there were stunt people who had to take some serious spills, probably many times for many takes. So I want to give them credit. But like in the first scene of snowboarding, there is an animation of someone like going up a half pipe, and it looked like something that I would make on my like Dell desktop in like 2002. Like I cannot emphasize to you how bad this looked. And it was so bizarre because like there was no other thing like it. And I was just like, what is going on? So like most of the snowboarding was just people snowboarding. Like, you know, you have a helmet on. No one can tell it's you anyway. And they made a point every single time they went to do a run. They all made a point of like putting a scarf over their face. So it made it even harder for you to like, right. So of course, like the stunt person, like you can't tell.
There were a couple times where they're like, like when she was shredding powder on Tyson's Peak, there was one shot of her with like the green screen in the background. That was bad. I bet you they did a full shot. And also
shot all of
her.
The avalanche.
Yeah. They had to have done full shots of her in front of a green screen, and they were like, we can't use any of this.
Oh, yeah. Right. I know. It was rough. So, yeah, there were definitely some weird choices, but otherwise it was fine.
Disney Channel star.
Yes. Multiple. Musical number.
No, and I am actually surprisingly grateful for that. I don't think that this would have been good as a musical, and I think that's the only time I've ever said that.
Wow. Well, I agree completely.
Magic. No.
Someone says the title of the movie.
Yeah,
a
they
million
do.
times. Yes.
Yeah. Scooby Dude. There's not really a problem.
There's
for
nothing
them to
to
solve.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
The heroes create the problem. No.
You could argue that
adults.
her being delusional to her being bad sparked it.
But it was generated, that delusion was supported and emphasized by the adults in her life.
Okay. Lead is a fish out of water.
No.
She's kind of a fish out of water at the hot doggers.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, sure, we can count that.
We're counting it. But you know what doesn't count, Val? We don't have any bingos this week.
I'm surprised. This felt like a very like classic.
Yeah. I don't even know which ones we would have needed. That the hero created the problem, a musical number, a one-hit wonder song, the Rotten Tomatoes. The movie was just too good.
That's true. All right. Well.
All right. Well, now it's time for a game. And remember, Val, how we were saying Luke Benward's name wrong? Well, don't you worry. This game is called How Does That Celebrity Say Their Name?
Oh, boy. Well, I know at least one.
All right. I'm going to... Do you want me to show you this celebrity and then you say their name? Or do you want me to try to describe the celebrity to you?
Maybe show me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Amanda Seyfried.
The correct pronunciation is Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Okay. Val, wrong. Okay. There's two that I have to show you because the screenshots of the other one are better.
Okay. Chrissy Teigen.
Chrissy Teigen.
What?
That's what it says. It says Teigen.
Wow.
Teigen, not Teigen.
Huh. Wow.
Could be wrong. Okay. Next one.
Barbara Streisand.
Yes. But a lot of people say Streisand, like with a Z, Streisand, and it's Streisand. So like it's emphasis on the sand and not Streisand. So Val,
okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Barbara.
Martin Scorsese.
It is Martin Scorsese.
Oh, I've heard it said like that. Yeah. Steve Buscemi.
This one says the correct pronunciation is Steve Buscemi.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Buscemi.
That could be wrong, but this is what the internet says.
Ariana Grande.
Her family says it Grandy, and when her brother was coming up, he changed it to Grande. So her grandfather says Grandy.
Interesting. Gal Gadot.
It is Gal Gadot.
Gadot. Yeah, I guess that sounds like Hebrew too.
Yay! Thanks for playing. These celebrities get their names said wrong. You win the love in my heart.
Oh, thanks.
And so does everyone else who played along.
All right, friend. This has been really fun. I'm so happy to have gotten to talk about a movie we both liked. And it was a sporty movie and it was a snowboarding movie. This is like we're in my wheelhouse.
You would have really liked this if you were a teen or a youth in 2014.
I agree. I think I would have really liked it. Next, we are watching another one I've never heard of before, Zapped.
I think Zendaya's in that.
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
We'll find out. But just excited to be back on track. Hopefully,
we got it.
With these decoms.
Knock on all the woods.
I feel good. I feel positive about this. Folks, as always, now that TikTok is at least here for like a few more minutes, hit us up there. We'll try and post a little more. And I actually reshared a bunch of stuff today. So if nothing else, we'll curate some fun content for you. And we're always on Instagram as well. And, tell a friend,
tell your mom. Thank you for sticking around with us while we go through these movies that you probably haven't seen either. Or if we have some resident Gen Zs who are listening to us now, welcome. Just grateful to be here.
Yes. Very much so.
All right, Val. Well, thanks very much for being my friend and my pal and Val.
Always. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
D-Commentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.